What's up, guys, and welcome back to PC Building Simulator. If you aren't at all familiar with this series, make sure you check out the link in the description so you can find the series playlist, catch up on all the previous ones that you may have missed. But continuing on where we left off, we're actually in free build mode right now, not career mode, because as some of you may know, graphics cards are becoming more and more expensive. And as of late, my old 1070 Ti isn't really keeping up to the task at hand, which in my case is, recording pre-recorded gameplay, or sometimes we stream. Sometimes. I know you guys have really been wanting me to bring back the Minecraft streams. We'll see. I can't say for sure. But with that aside, I'm really curious to see if we were to rip out the 1070 Ti from my current system and upgrade it to, say, a 20 series or maybe even the new 30 series, way more expensive than they should be right now. I'm curious to see what sort of performance boost we'd actually get, not only in-game, but I do kind of want to do some research, see what other people are getting as far as performance goes on these new GPUs. So our current benchmark on the 1070 Ti, now keep in mind, this is the most accurate recreation that I can possibly make on this game of my actual system. Some of the stuff is not exact, but it's close enough, believe me. I also did another episode of this where we compared both the game's 3D Mark benchmark scores versus my actual 3D Mark benchmark scores. They're really pretty similar, if I remember correctly. They are really close. So we have a 6745 for our current system, and let's see what sort of graphics cards we can upgrade to. So first off, I want to see if they've added any new 1070 Ti's that are maybe a little bit closer to what I actually have. The model I have is a GeForce WindForce version of it, whereas we have the NVIDIA version. I think mine is a Gigabyte version. So it's a Gigabyte WindForce 1070 Ti, yada, yada, yada. The only one that I found that's even remotely close to that seems to be the NVIDIA GeForce 1070 Ti Founders Edition, which mine definitely does not look this cool. But even if I were to choose any of the other 1070 Ti's in here, they seem to have around the same core frequency, memory frequency. The wattage is even very similar. Now that we know that, let's just type 20 so we can see if there's any 20 series available. Here we go. We have our first 20 series, a 2080 Ti, the EVGA. We have that in non-Ti as well, a 2070. So the way I see it is, if I have a 1070 Ti right now, I wouldn't have to, right? But for the sake of being able to, if someone were to inquire, hey, what kind of graphics card do you have? I already have 1070, sort of ingrained into my small brain here. So if I could upgrade, I'd probably do a 2070 or maybe even a 3070. So let's see if they have at least a 2070, maybe not the 2080. Here we go. RTX 2070 Extreme. That's even Gigabyte brand, which is what I currently have. And we have a 1060 Extreme. I've never even seen that card before. It's obviously a slightly stepped down version of what I have. It only has 6 gigs of VRAM. And if you're watching this and you have no idea what the lingo that I'm using is, don't worry, neither do I. I'm just rattling stuff off, all right? We have the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2070 Founders Edition. Very good looking card. That's fairly close to what I would want to upgrade to, but hear me out. This is the reason that I'm kind of not upgrading to the 20 series. I'm more so thinking about upgrading to the 30 series because there's not a whole lot of difference as far as stats go between these. Of course, there's other stuff that's obviously not listed here, but just from these alone, it seems like maybe the 2070 is about the same. So I think I want to put that to the test. I definitely, oh my God, can't fit. Please, God, tell me you're joking. Is that just because I don't have the motherboard? What I'm going to do then instead is you guys are going to get a nice little time lapse of me recreating my current system, everything except for the graphics card, of course. And we're going to keep the other one over there on the other table just as a comparison. Okay, so there you guys have it. Everything is now complete. Everything except for the graphics card. But quick little rundown for those of you that maybe aren't familiar with the system. We have two RGB Corsair 140 fans as intake fans at the front. We then have two 120s at the top for exhaust, an additional 120 at the rear for exhaust. And we have dual G-Skill Trident Zs. They're 8 gigs at 3200 megahertz. And then we have a similar thing, except they're Ripjaws, not the Trident, so they don't have RGB. That's just what I got, man. Don't blame me for running different memory. We have a 1 terabyte M.2 SSD in the motherboard, and the motherboard itself is a Gigabyte X470 Gaming Ultra is what I actually have, but this is the closest one to that. And for power supply, this isn't, again, not the exact one, but it's a Corsair 650. I don't remember exactly what they are. Power supply is a power supply, though. I mean, there's nothing really that crazy. And then the case is a Fractal Design Meshify. It's called the Meshify C. Very, very nice case, very sleek, also very cheap. But we have a couple more things to actually plug in here before we get things going. So I'm just going to put the side panel back on. We're going to put all the dust filters and everything back on this beast. It is not a beast, you guys. It is so slow right now. Seriously, the slowest it's ever been. And then we'll have to leave the side panel off so we can get the graphics card in there. So let's see. 2070. We have the 2070 Founders. We have a 2070 Super. This is one of the cards that I'm actually considering because unlike just the 2070, the Founders Edition, this has a apparent performance boost, whereas the stats for the 2070 Founders don't necessarily seem all that different from my 1070 Ti. Is this making sense so far? Is anyone actually following along with this? We have the Gigabyte 2070 Super down there. So I do want to try a couple of these. Maybe let's do the 2070 Super because this is the one that I've actually found for sale. Most of these other ones you can't find. If you do find them, they'll be like double, sometimes even triple the original MSRP. Let's do the RTX 2070 Super Gaming OC in white. Also a really nice looking graphics card. We'll go ahead and install that. See, that's just so much beefier than the one I have right now, dude. Visually, it looks like it's gonna perform better. I know that's not really saying much, but let's go ahead and put the front panel back on this thing. We'll get our OS installed in the back with our little thumb drive there and put that front panel back on. Perfect. All right, let's boot this baby up. I'm immediately gonna enter the BIOS so I can do the XMP setting that I have on my RAM on the other computer. Apply changes and restart. Thank you. I'm really curious though if there's gonna be a noticeable performance boost here. It'd be really nice if we could actually get something to work. Oh, there's also cloud notes here, which is something that I don't even know what it does, but that's a new feature here on PC Building Sim. Virus scanner we don't need. Let's just get 3D Mark and probably the lighting software just because we can. All right, first let's open Cloud Notes. It's literally a notepad. Okay, good to know. Now let's change all the lighting so that it's rainbow, slow, extreme offset. There we go. That's how all my lights are. And now we're gonna run this benchmark. We're gonna see how it performs. Already I'm noticing it's about 3, maybe 4 FPS better than how it was doing on the current system. So again, just keep in mind, we're trying to beat this score, the 6745. We're definitely trying to improve that. More so, we're trying to improve the graphics score right here. That's the score that is directly connected to our GPU, our graphics card. And then the CPU score is obviously for the CPU. I don't know why I have a spinny wheel right now. Please, God, somebody help me. You know, it'd be really funny is if I go through all the trouble trying to record this video just to find out that my graphics card actually can't even do PC Building Simulator anymore. That would just be the coolest dang thing. Right now we're at 58, almost 59 FPS in this part of the benchmark. I haven't seen a number that high for this yet. So that's reassuring. Definitely reassuring. And if there's anyone out there that actually knows a thing or two about graphics cards, definitely let your boy know. If I can upgrade, financially right now I can't upgrade, but when I can, or if I ever can, let me know if it's even worth upgrading from a 1070 to a 2070 IRL. Obviously, we're doing the testing here virtually to see if it's a good idea, but for real, let me know, because that would be super sick. All right, let's see what we got. Graphics score alone is a 9271, okay, and compared to a 6380. So even though it still does only have 8 gigabytes of VRAM, it seems like it's performing significantly better. We have a 9371 compared to a 45 overall. I don't think that's going to improve our CPU. 9983, literally the same thing. I don't know why it would improve the score, but that's really interesting. So since this is our testing computer, we're going to go ahead, we're going to do one more, but we're going to do the 30 series this time. We're going to do the 3070. I should probably like, I don't know, power the system down. Maybe that would be a good idea. All right, so let's yoink out the 2070 Super, and then let's get ourselves a 3070. Probably help if we're in graphics cards. There we go. So this is a new graphics card they added to the game just recently. We have the Asus GeForce RTX 3070 overclocked edition with, again, only 8 gigs of VRAM. But the RTX 3070 from NVIDIA, the original, if you will, still only has 8 gigs of VRAM, which I currently have with a 1070. Core frequency and memory frequency are definitely higher. Maybe the wattage is also higher. I believe the 1070 Ti was 180 watts, whereas this is 220. So it'll be interesting to see also if my current power supply can keep up with this. Dude, that's tiny in comparison. This is smaller than the 1070 Ti. How does that make any sense? How is it going to perform better? Also, I don't like what's happening with that cable. Hopefully that's not what it looks like IRL. That alone would kind of make me not want to get it, but the Founders Edition cards from NVIDIA do look pretty sweet. I didn't realize how small they were, though. That's wild. All right, let's get that front panel put back on here. We're going to go ahead and power this baby up, enter the BIOS just to make sure. We did power everything down. That XMP is still on perfect. Let's just apply the changes and restart again. Right here, FPS is seeming about the same. I think this one's more CPU intensive than the others, though. Oh my... I do that all the time. I do that all the time, you guys. Pick up the computer when I'm not... It's right click on the mouse, so it's easy to do. But I always do that every time I'm trying to run a benchmark. I accidentally pick up the computer. All right, dudes and dudettes, the moment of truth. The time is finally here. We're gonna see what the benchmark score is. An 11,810, dude. What? Graphics test 1, 80 FPS. Graphics test 2 is 60. See, right now, dude, I'm dropping in, like, even playing a game like Stranded Deep. That's a current series that I've been losing frames in. Trying to play it is fine, but the recording actually drops frames. It's not the encoder settings, believe me. I haven't changed a thing. But I'm dropping below 45 frames per second playing that game alone, not to mention all the other games that I play that are more GPU intensive. So with the lowest being 69, that is nuts. That is absolutely bonkers. 11,810. Comparison again, a 6745. We are almost doubling the original benchmark score, which is mind-blowing. Now, I know this video is probably not the most entertaining thing in the world, but I do hope it's at least a little bit informative so you can kind of get a better picture of the issues that I'm having right now. I know I've seen a couple of comments about the dropping of frames in certain series and so on and so forth. So just trying to clear things up here. This is my current struggle. I wish GPU prices were a lot cheaper than they are right now for sure, but of course, there's nothing that I can do about that. So it's a waiting game. We'll have to wait to upgrade for a good while yet. But nonetheless, I do hope you guys enjoyed this little video. If you guys did, please leave a like, leave a comment, help support the dream by smashing that subscribe button. And I will see you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Peace.